FASD, fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, is 100% preventable. I've heard the saying, think before you drink. If you are expecting a child, don't drink. No amount of alcohol is safe during pregnancy, not even a sip. When you drink during pregnancy, your child drinks while they're still inside of you. The blood vessels in the umbilical cord constrict, nutrients are not properly given to the fetus, oxygen is reduced. It has great effects on the unborn child. Depending on how much you drink and during which trimester you drink, it can have different effects. Some children born with this are high functioning, they have no physical attributes, they seem to be the same as you and I, but they still have fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. They have a lot of cognitive differences. Now, FASD can present physically as well. The facial abnormalities, physical abnormalities, it can have great effects on the internal organs. But the most devastating is when the alcohol affects the growth of the central nervous system. That's the brain. Now, when your body doesn't receive the nutrients it needs, when your body is poisoned, it's not going to function properly. And that's what happens with FASD. Before birth, the child is unable to develop at a normal rate. They are deprived of the things that they need to thrive. Drinking before pregnancy can have an effect on the fetus as well. There has been researchers checking this out, and if you drink prior to conception and the egg is affected by the alcohol, when that egg is fertilized and grows, it is still affected by the alcohol, and that child will be born with some degree of fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. At birth, you might not see a difference in these babies compared to any other baby. They may look the same, they may cry the same. Diagnosis of FASD is very difficult to come by. It is beneficial for the families to know and to have the diagnosis so that they can step out and look for resources that they need. They can begin intervention and interaction with these children to give them the best start that they can have in their life. Now, FASD may not present until school age. You may not notice a difference in your child because at home, interacting day in, day out, you don't see the comparison to other children. Now, we're all told not to compare our children with others because we all develop at different rates. But it will be very apparent the differences between a child with FASD and a child without. There is great behavioral issues. There can be learning disabilities. Social interactions can just be horrendous. FASD has a lifelong effect. It can have physical difficulties. The children can have physical difficulties as well as cognitive difficulties. They are at high risk for mental illness, psychological issues, definitely behavioral issues, and learning troubles. There is an increase in criminality and incarceration in adolescents. There is a higher risk for addiction and alcoholism. These people may not be able to function on a day-to-day basis. Their attention is just not there. We get up in the morning, we brush our teeth, we get dressed, we have breakfast, and we go about our day. Someone with FASD just may not be able to do these things. They have a harder time gaining employment or sustaining employment. They may not be able to care for themselves at all throughout adulthood. It's devastating. It is a hard, long road for these kids with FASD, and the families just go through so much trying to support their children, trying to love them and giving them the best that they possibly can. There is a limited amount of resources for support for these families, and the medical bills are humongous. Just trying to do the best that they can to support these kids. So definitely think before you drink, and prevent it. Prevent the hardship on these miracles that are brought into this world. We need to do our best to take care of them before they're born, so that when they are born, they can have the best opportunity and equal opportunity to the rest of us. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos about children and families affected by fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. They're people just like you and I. I suggest you go and check out Morgan Fawcett. I believe he was around 19 when he made this video. He is a man affected by fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, and his story touched my heart. It really did. And he had a lot of eye-opening things to say. Now, personally, after the research and the facts, when we put that all the way into a little file, we say, yes, it's another developmental disability. But there are people that are affected. The mothers who drink during pregnancy, I feel for them. I have 3 healthy little boys who are not affected by fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. We're fortunate. But to know that you've harmed your child, sometimes not even knowing that you've done it, it's something that the parents have to live with for the rest of their life. Don't judge them. When you come across a child affected by fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, love them. They deserve it just as much as you do. We all have a heart. We all have thoughts and feelings. We need to reach out and support one another. We are here. We live in community. Everybody on the earth bleeds red blood, and we need to support one another and not judge. If you have knowledge, education, finances, smile, share it, because someday you might need it too. So for my input on fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, just don't drink if you're planning on starting a family, if you find that you are expecting, and support those who are affected.